Without a doubt, Maxi is one of the most controversial banned cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG format. This card has been banned for a few years now, and ever since it got forbidden, people have talked about whether or not it should stay banned or be unbanned and go to 3 copies per deck. Notably, in the OCG format, they actually have had 3 Maxi for a very long time now, so that is one of the biggest differences between their decks and our decks. Yeah, they have a different card pool, and yeah, their ban list is pretty different in other ways as well, but one of the core components of the OCG format is that Maxi is at 3. That really does change how people deck build, how many counters people have to play for hand traps, just because of how popular and how powerful Maxi is. Just in case you aren't familiar with Maxi, let's take a look at what it does. Maxi is a level 2 Earth Insect effect monster with 500 attack and 200 defense. It says during either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, immediately draw 1 card. You can only use 1 Maxi per turn. On paper, Maxi is a very simple card. It discourages the opponent from special summoning too many times, and I think when they printed this card back in 2011, they definitely had good intentions. However, the card has changed a lot over the years. Its applications are very different, and that's why the card is so controversial in 2022. Now, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time. I saw Maxi get released back in the day. I saw Maxi go to 2 and then 1 and then it got banned. So I've gotten a chance to use Maxi in a lot of different formats. But I know for a lot of new TCG players and returning TCG players that maybe played way back in the day during old school Yu-Gi-Oh! They've never gotten a chance to use Maxi in any competitive environment. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has been a big surprise for a lot of people, because in this game at the moment, at the time of recording this video at least, they don't use a specific OCG or TCG ban list. They use standard format, which is like 90% of the OCG ban list with a couple more hits, and in that ban list they have 3 copies of Maxi legal. That means for the first time for a lot of TCG players, they are getting a chance to experience Maxi in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So I feel like Maxi is in a lot of people's minds right now, because if you're someone like me that's been playing Master Duel and the regular TCG format, it's one of the biggest differences between the 2 formats. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some arguments for and against Maxi, and then I also invited a couple of your guys' favorite content creators to give their opinions as well. I think this is a really great time to be talking about Maxi and whether or not it should come back in the TCG, but I realize that because Maxi is controversial, the comment section on today's video might get a little bit messy. That being said, I hope you guys hear me out, and I hope you guys listen to other content creators, because let's be real, pretty much no one can agree on Maxi. Maxi was first released in February of 2011. The card wasn't nearly as hyped up as it is nowadays. People liked the card, it did see experimentation, but it wouldn't be until later on that year in September when people really started to talk about Maxi. In September of 2011, Billy Break won YCS Toronto with a Plant Synchro deck that used 2 copies of Maxi in the main deck. This was a completely revolutionary tech card at the time. It obliterated the mirror match and it was good against a lot of other decks as well. Then just 1 month later, in October of 2011, Billy Break won YCS Columbus to become a back-to-back YCS champion, and he played Plant Synchro once again, and one of the only changes he made to his deck list was adding a 3rd copy of Maxi to the main deck. Because of those 2 back-to-back YCS wins from a well-known player like Billy Break, as well as many other named players trying out Maxi in their decks and seeing a lot of success with it, Maxi more than quadrupled in price. I wish I had the exact numbers. I think I remember that Maxi was like less than $20 at one point, and then it went up to like over $100 a copy, but it's been 11 years and I can't quite remember the exact numbers, but it was a big increase and the card started seeing tons of play. So let's talk about the good and bad parts about Maxi, because I think this card was well-intentioned and I do understand why people like it, but its applications have changed throughout the years. One of the things that Maxi is supposed to do is prevent the opponent from doing anything too crazy, and I think to this day that can still happen with Maxi. If you have a Maxi against a combo deck and they don't have a Called by the Grave or a Crossout Designator or an Ash Blossom, they probably will just pass turn. They won't do their big unfair combo. And I know that there are a lot of old school Yu-Gi-Oh players and returning Yu-Gi-Oh players that really do not like special summons, or at least how many special summons there are in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So Max C might look like the perfect card to solve that issue. And that might have been true a while ago. These days though, I don't necessarily think that's how Max C is always used. For example, nowadays, way more than 11 years ago, pretty much every single casual and rogue deck is going to special summon a few times on their turn. You aren't necessarily going to do a big combo, but even the like 4 fun decks that people don't take very seriously probably have a few different special summon effects. So this can create a situation where when Max C was released, it wasn't very good against casual and rogue decks, but it was very good against a special summon heavy meta deck. But nowadays, while it is still very good against special summon heavy meta decks, it's also very good against casual and rogue decks too. So that obviously is not very fun for a lot of players. Now sure, the casual and rogue decks are better off against the combo decks if they open Max C, but it can be pretty oppressive when a meta player opens Max C against a more casual or rogue player, because in that case, not only is the meta player playing a more powerful, more consistent deck, but also the casual and rogue players, they can't really special summon more than like a couple times, because giving a meta deck a bunch of cards in their hand isn't going to go well. Furthermore, one of the other issues with Max C is that when a combo player goes first and they do their entire combo, and then they also have Max C in hand, it makes it basically impossible for the opponent to break that board, because not only do you have to play through all of their negates, but if they also have Max C, you're giving them a free draw with every special summon. So while Max C might have been designed to beat combo meta decks, nowadays at least it feels like Max C is actually helping them out quite a bit. Sure, the combo decks might take a few losses to getting Max C'd and not drawing Ash or Crossout or Called by the Grave, but they also get a bunch of wins by full comboing and then having Max C in their hand at the very end of the combo. So Max C is a very tricky card where it does work against combo decks like it's supposed to, but it can also help them out. This is kind of the same conversation that happens with cards like Imperial Order or Vanity's Emptiness. They might look like they're supposed to stop the big combo decks, and they certainly can do that, but also they're very good in combo decks when they go first. But you could also make the argument that in formats where Max C is legal, combo decks have to be built a lot differently, because they have to find room for Called by the Grave or Ash Blossom or Crossout Designator or the Brave token engine. You have to play cards to stop Max C if you are playing a combo deck. And that means that those combo decks might not be as powerful because they have to use so many spots in their deck to counter Max C. So as you guys can tell, Max C is a very polarizing card, and there really isn't a right or wrong answer when it comes to talking about Max C being banned or unbanned. There are plenty of reasons for and against the card coming back, and pretty much everyone out there is going to have their own opinion. In the OCG, their ban list overall looks very different from our ban list in the TCG, and Max C is probably a big reason why. In their format, they have plenty of combo cards unbanned that are restricted in the TCG, and I think Max C plays a big role in that. I feel like I've tried to cover both sides of the Max C argument as well as I could in today's video, and I think the best way to end this discussion is to bring in some other content creators that make content about the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and ask them what they think about Max C now that they've gotten a chance to play it in Master Duel.
After utilizing Max C and Master Duel over the course of the last week, my opinion on it has not particularly changed that much, to tell you the truth. I've never been someone who's felt super passionate and truly strong about the Earth Insect. I feel like it's a card that creates a different style of game rather than what we have currently in this format. And while it is an extremely centralizing card in that you basically have to play Ash Blossom and Call By and Cross Out potentially, just like they do in the OCG, I feel like for the most part, I've really come to terms with the fact that Master Duel is a different game, but it does feel different to play with Max C. And overall, I feel like it has been quite a positive experience. There are games, obviously, where it just ends your turn, but that really isn't that different from a lot of other situations, hand traps, end boards, etc. And really what Max C is designed to do is to combat those terrible end boards that basically say you can't play the game. Generally, I think I'd say I'm more leaning towards Max C rather than against it, but I could absolutely see arguments for both sides.
Many of you know that I've long been a Max C denier. For the better part of the past half-decade, I've been preaching any gospel that lets me keep this silly little bug on the ban list. And now, after a couple of weeks of playing with Max C in Master Duel, I can say that maybe I was 100% correct. I cannot impart to you how many games have been decided by this idiotic card. Any of the old arguments for unbanning this card stopped working in 2018. Oh, there's some sort of skill test as to when you can drop it. Yeah, right. Any competent deck is going to summon about 15 times over the course of their turn. If you stop them on summon number 2, you win the game. It keeps the combo decks in check. Oh yeah, how's that working for Master Duel, where the top decks are Drytron, Adamancipator, Virtual World, and Zodiac, against which Max C is only Upstart Goblin. Oh yeah, and let's not forget that these combo decks can also play Max C. It's not like you're banned from owning the card if you're doing something unfair. There is nothing more debilitating than staring down a 50-negate Adamancipator board, and then at the start of their turn, they send one little insect from their hand to the graveyard. And finally, if they have any plans of bringing Dawn of Majesty to the client, they're going to have to ban it anyway. B-Trooper, an extremely competent combo deck, has an in-archetype mechanism to search it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Take it out back. Card sucks.
To be honest, after playing Max C in Master Duel at 3 in all my decks, 100,000% this card needs to get unbanned. I think it's really healthy for the game. It proves that deck building matters. If you want to counter Max C, there are so many other cards out there. Cross Out, Cold Bite, Ash Blossom. There are so many ways to counter Max C. And if you're so scared of Max C, you know, just be a better player. I'm sorry. Like, if you're so scared of that card so much, build a stun deck. You know what I'm saying? Don't play combo decks. Play a deck that doesn't combo a lot. You know what? I think the card is super duper fair. There are so many ways to counter it since its inception. And honestly, guys, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For so long that literally, I don't remember if you guys know in 2016 when it was like Monarchs or Pendulum format, but not everybody was playing Max C. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody was main decking Max C. You know, everybody was siding Max C because of the Monarch matchup. And if you're playing against the BA matchup, you put in the Max C. So it makes your deck building skills a little bit more creative, and also at the same time it promotes a lot of different decks out there in the format, because the Max C exists, right? Not everybody wants to play combo decks, you know, like it forces other people to try other decks. So that's just my opinion, man. That's my hot take. Not everybody's gonna like my take anyway. So yeah, Max C to 3, baby, all the way. I love this card. I love it when they activate Max C and I chain Gamma, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best feeling ever.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Disdecoder, and today Doug reached out to me and asked me, after experiencing Max C in Master Duel, would I like to see it unlimited in the TCG? And to be completely honest with you guys, I hate Max C. I hate Max C in Master Duel. I would hate to see Max C in the TCG. In my personal opinion, I just feel like Max C is not a very healthy card. Max C is only really healthy when you're playing against a combo deck that overly combos and you kind of punish them and force them to do a slightly weaker combo in exchange for giving you a couple of cards. But where Max C ends up being extremely toxic is when you're playing against a deck that, you know, for their full combo, they have to summon like 4 times in order to do something, you know, even remotely respectable. And then you Max C them, and those 4 cards you're getting are basically just completely rendering useless the 4 special summons they use to make like 1 or 2 interruptions. So whenever you're playing against a deck that doesn't do some kind of crazy wacky combo, Max C just ends up like ruining the game for them and makes it completely unwinnable for them after you've Max C'd them, because they either end on nothing or they end on their 1 disruption and give you 4 cards in the process. The other way that Max C is super toxic in my opinion is if you go first, perform a full combo, and then you tell your opponent, hey, you have to out my board. On top of that, I'm drawing for every single card that you're special summoning. That is when Max C becomes a little bit silly. So in my opinion, Max C is not a very healthy card, and I would hate to see it come back in the TCG because I really don't think that it's a very healthy card. Even in Master Duel, it was cool for about like an hour, and then I got Max C'd every other game, and I was like, okay, I'm very much tired of this. So in my opinion, Max C stays banned. Everything's fine. Everyone's going to be happy, and we're going to live a very wonderful Max C-less life.
There will be links in the description below to all of the channels that I just featured, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's discussion video, and make sure to let me know in the comment section below what you think about Max C. Would you like it to come back in the TCG? Would you like it to stay banned? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'll see you later though. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.